Foreign Visitors View channel invites you to the mountains,
where you can see a city once built in a narrow valley surrounded by mountains on all sides.
And now its parts are separated by mountain ranges and mountain rivers.
You will see how much of its medieval history is still visibly traceable in the city.
We will also see the difference between urban and rural architecture.
And the locality in question is the westernmost city in Austria, Feldkirch, which some call the City of Legends.
However, it has many sophisticated urban planning solutions in the form of tunnels under historical buildings on the hills to the north and south.
For example, you can go to Innsbruck using this tunnel.
And to Liechtenstein through this one, where we also invite you to join us.
We came here during our long journey when we traveled from Ukraine to Poland, then Slovakia, Austria, Germany, returned to Austria, namely Feldkirch.
And then visited Liechtenstein, Innsbruck, northern Italy, and further. Join us.
The youth hostel where we stayed has been operating since 1985 in a historic building.
It was constructed in the 14th century as a hospital, specifically a leper colony.
The adjacent building, belonging to the Catholic Church of St. Magdalene, was damaged by fire in 1557.
It is believed that the hospital also burned down at the same time.
The restored building has half-timbered walls traditional for Central Europe.
They are considered a representation of the peasant architecture in many European countries.
Half-timbered houses have a framework of wooden beams with the space filled with stone, brick, clay, and other materials.
By the way, this hostel stood out positively among other hostels we stayed at during our journeys. Therefore, we recommend it.
Although a settlement is believed to have existed here at least since 830, Feldkirch became a town after Hugo von Montfort, founder of the Montfort family of counts, built a castle here in the early 13th century.
The castle is called Schattenburg.
And it is believed that this name comes from the Middle High German Schatten, which means defense or fortification.
Although, reading the name with modern German in mind, one might think that it means a castle of shadows.
Its task was to protect the nearby settlement and the trade routes.
It did this well, having withstood at least 2 sieges.
The castle was part of the city fortifications and was connected by walls to other towers.
Driving along the central street, you can see other towers of the fortress wall.
The townspeople admire the founder of the city, and the recently renovated concert hall is named after him, Montfort House.
There are also shopping malls and hotels here.
We were lucky that it was not crowded here in the morning hours.
It is amazing to see steep cliffs rising next to city streets.
Situated next to the market square, the church dedicated to St. John the Baptist, Johanni der Kirche, is also connected to Montfort.
It is behind a red building, whose color is very typical for this city.
In 1218, Pope Honorius III demanded that Count Hugo von Montfort take part in the crusade.
The Count gave this building to the Order of St. John as a hospice.
It is believed that it was in the Holy Land or on the way there that the life of the founder of Feldkirch ended.
The statue with a fountain that we found in the square directly under the castle also depicts Montfort in the armor of a medieval knight and with a spear.
The 4 lion heads with water flowing from their mouths add significance to the figure.
On the opposite side from Schattenburg, part of the fortifications was the Katzenturm, or the Cat Tower, built in the early 16th century.
Its name originates from the fact that the cannons that were once located there had images of the heads of a cat and a lion.
However, love for cats is shown in other ways in this city as well.
But later the tower was rebuilt and a bell was placed in it, since there was no belfry nearby.
The coat of arms at the top of the tower belongs to the Habsburg dynasty.
They purchased Feldkirch back in 1375.
The maps depict how the Habsburgs expanded their possessions.
The city hall was also built under the Habsburg, and therefore their coat of arms is also placed on the wall of the building.
In addition, the years of construction and reconstruction are indicated on the walls.
The frescoes depict important events in the life of the city and portraits of famous citizens.
In general, frescoes on external walls are very typical of this part of Europe.
They can be seen on the exterior of a neighboring building here.
And in the city of Lindau, which we visited the day before.
We invite you to explore Lindau with us.
The main church in Feldkirch is the Cathedral of St. Nicholas.
The first building in the Romanesque style is believed to have been built at the same time as the Schattenburg castle, that is, in the early 13th century.
Subsequently, numerous fires and passage of time required its reconstruction.
The cathedral is now the largest Gothic building in the region.
We observe numerous Gothic elements both outside and inside the building.
The rooster on the church steeple refers to the biblical story of Jesus' prediction during the Last Supper that the apostle Peter would denounce him 3 times before the rooster crowed.
Historically, a rooster was placed atop the steeples of many Protestant churches in Europe to distinguish them from Catholic ones.
But this church belongs to the Roman Catholic Church and has been the main cathedral of the diocese since 1968.
This part of the world is rich in stories related to the Reformation and Counter-Reformation.
Parts of present-day Austria further to the east became Lutheran in accordance with the Augsburg Confession.
However, the territory of Feldkirch always remained Catholic.
Therefore, it is believed that the presence of a rooster on the spire of Feldkirch Cathedral is part of a long-standing broader Christian tradition and not a trace of Protestantism.
Currently, Austria is predominantly a Catholic country.
According to the 2021 census, there are even fewer supporters of Protestantism here than of the Orthodox Church.
But this was not always the case, and during the Reformation, Calvinist and Lutheran movements were quite noticeable in parts of the Holy Roman Empire.
The history of the nearby Capuchin monastery chapel, which belongs to the Roman Catholic Church, is indicative of Calvinist influences.
It is believed that visiting this chapel can help get rid of headaches. To heal, they suggest praying to Saint Fidelis.
He was first a lawyer and then a Capuchin monk. The Capuchin order was one of those created by the Roman Catholic Church to combat the Reformation.
It was precisely to fight the Calvinists that he was sent to the nearby town of Civis Impretigo in present-day Switzerland.
The monk was so overzealous in his attempts to convert the local farmers that they murdered him in 1622.
His body was interred at the cathedral in Coira, Switzerland, but his head was brought to the Capuchin church in Feldkirch and remains here, alleviating headaches.
And the clock on the tower of St. Nicholas Cathedral shows that we explored the city even before the arrival of those city residents who use this parking lot when they come to work.
Some buildings catch our eyes, but it may be difficult to find them on the map later.
Because they may be located on a completely different level on the side of the mountain.
One of them turned out to be an educational institution for kindergarten teachers, the St. Joseph Institute.
It appeared above the spot where we had managed to park for our quick morning excursion,
which was conducted for you by Konstantin Krasovsky
and Tatiana Andreeva at Foreign Visitors View channel.
The sign on the road shows that you can drive further to Innsbruck.
And we invite you to join us on this journey.
And ahead there are mountains with snow. Now we are heading there.
Just a few kilometers along the main street of Feldkirch and we are already in Liechtenstein. Are you coming with us?